You see, the problem with a lot of cars today, especially all the big icons that we all know and love, they're just so expensive. That's why the popularity of the AU Falcon and a lot of the Commodores in recent times have skyrocketed, because they remain one of the only rear-wheel drive cars that are actually obtainable. But even those recently have started to skyrocket in value. But here we have something that may just be cheaper. Today, my friends, I present to you
this turbo diesel C32 Laurel is the absolute burnout machine you never thought you could have, but you could definitely afford.
Watch it go vroom, vroom. I told her mom that I was soon. Knew as a child back in the womb. Oh, told her step back, I need my room. Hop in the car, watch it go vroom. I'm in a whip, so I gotta zoom. They tryna talk, they not in the room. I've been so real, I'm dead to the tomb. They in the way, they gotta move. I got a gas, they running on fumes. Told them way back, it's something new. It's me and Dan, you gotta choose. I'm taking what's mine, I'm doing fine. Don't see the vision, they looking so blind. I hit my lawyer, don't got the time. Crossing my T's and he dotting those eyes.
Hey, what's up guys? I'm Chase. This is my 1988 C32 Laurel Audi 28 5-speed manual with a Chinese turbo slapped on the side for fun. Got an aftermarket Falcon intercooler jammed in the front, custom made hockey stick manifold off the factory one, full 3-inch exhaust and injector pump wound as far as it'll go. And so the turbo manifold's just a factory one that we made a 2-on-the-1 piece where it's supposed to bolt on, and we welded it all up with the arc welder. Used a 180-degree steam pipe bend from pipeline and then just straight up to the bottom of the turbo with a T2 flange on it. We kept on the gasket, so we just welded the turbo to it. I'd done the Subaru gasket delete, and she's good. I brought this off an old guy who had this as his pride and joy, and he had another one that he drove around every day that was his kind of beater. He ended up getting sick of them and put them up for sale, and I brought them off Trade and decided that I'd make it like my old one was, but except for this time I was going to turbo it. It's got stage LR control arms, A31 knuckles, R33 325 DE brakes, because they're the bigger 4-stud brakes. It's got S14 front struts and factory springs, and the weight of the diesel slams it out. In the back it's got R32 front adjusties, wound down as far as they'll possibly go. Some horrible Vati stages that make it look nice because they're black and chrome like the rest of the car. I painted it in the driveway not long after I got it. Didn't even get a wash, just a quick scuff and shoot, and it's turned out well enough for what it is. Built this pretty much just to do skids and have fun with the family and whatnot. It does fifth gear on the spot. We had it at 4s and rotors, but the night before we were doing burnouts in it and I lifted the head at somewhere between 40-45 pound of boost. So we re-torqued it for the Sunday, but it wasn't too happy about it, so I put this motor in it for now while I build the other one up. The other one's going to get O-ring head, copper head gasket, ARP studs and whatnot, and a full balance. And then it'll go back in, and I plan on running at least 30 pound every day. At 4s and rotors, I took it out and I was doing some donuts, and it would only really hold second. It wasn't too happy on third, and I noticed the temp gauge was about quarter above H. As I was coasting off, it decided to turn off itself, and I tried to start it again, she wouldn't roll over. So we waited and had a look at another couple of cars for about 20 minutes, come back and she decided to start. So I put the old girl into the grass corner and repeated it a few times for the day. I heat seized it 4 times in total and still drove it home. Still drove onto the hoist when I took the other motor out and put this one in. And then 3 days later, after that, I drove it to Invercargill and back for Christmas and didn't miss a beat one time. It owes me, on the high side, it owed me 4 grand. It's just kind of cobbled together out of a bunch of shit real cheap. Like the wheels were 400 bucks, the gearbox is the one that come in it. This motor was 300 bucks. Like the paint kit was 110 off Trade Me, so it wasn't much either. And yeah, it was just thrown together out of some cheap parts, and anyone could do it. It's nothing fancy. Like anyone can spray a car. It's barely even got a wash and it looks all good. So you just do what you do with what you've got and make the most of it.
For a diesel, it goes pretty freaking good.
Well, 2.8 men. started making these in 62.
Yeah.
62 or 63 they started making these motors.
What would this motor have come in?
This and like old oil rails.
Yeah.
And like my Datsun you could get as a 220D, which had this motor in it as well.
Yeah.
Because yeah, that one's a 260C, which is 2.6 petrol, but some of them diesel on it.
I do gotta say, when we were at Blake's last year for Forza Rotors and we were there that night doing skids, this thing did surprise the hell out of me. And at first I didn't actually realise that it was diesel powered.
Yeah, so my old best mate there, Spirit, I had a C34 and it was non-turbo RD28 auto. And fucking, the way I met him was the same thing. We went to this big skid meet one night. It was supposed to be one of those Evs versions, but it was an Ash. And everyone was standing around talking shit and no one would fucking do a skid. So I went out there on my fucking C34, just cut loose. And this gimpy cunt come over and started talking to me about my 25 diesel rail. And I'm like, nah, it's diesel, mate. And ever since then we were real good mates, so. But yeah, fucking, everybody thinks that when I've got a diesel, they always think they're a petrol for some reason.
Yeah. I mean, like, that clip that you did, that we got just then of you driving by,
Yeah.
it reminds me a lot of a stock RB20D with like the log manifold. It
Yeah.
sounds real similar to that.
Yeah.
Initially, actually, yeah, that's what I thought you had in it at Blake's. It was just a RB20.
Yeah, no. Shitty 60s diesel with a fucking lot of boost up and so.
And aside from it getting stickered at 4s, you don't have too much issues with comps or anything in this?
None. I got brought up one other time. Cop asked me if it come factory turbo. I said yep, all I've done was remade the manifold because it was snap. And that was it. Didn't say anything about it. And then at 4s I only got stickered because I was too low in the front. My sway bar was 40mm off the ground. And we didn't want that, so the exhaust is low as shit because I couldn't afford to buy 3-inch bends because like, they're like $70 each.
Yeah.
So I fucking, instead of sending, well there's not really any room either to send the exhaust over the diff. So it goes under the diff because how low it is.
Yeah.
So it's just pretty much from your feet that goes straight all the way to the back.